The year was 1937. In Chicago, Joe Louis beat James Braddock and prepared for his historic first-round knockout of German boxer Max Schmeling. Josephine Baker, the stylish, sophisticated entertainer and dancer, toured Europe and after marrying a Frenchman, became a French citizen. And on August 22nd, a child named after the 39th book of the Bible, Malachi, was born to Elder and Mrs. Isaac Favors. His father was founder and pastor of Friendly Temple Church of God in Christ at 35th and Wabash. Malachi Favors grew up across the street from the original location of the Chicago Defender at 34th and Indiana. He was the oldest of 10 children. Malachi was always happy when he talked about his childhood days, and like many young boys in Chicago, he was a newspaper delivery boy for the Chicago Defender. Favors was introduced to music at birth, first through the church, then through the very spirit within him. By the age of 15, he was studying the double bass under the legendary Wilbur Ware, one of Chicago's premier bassists. When Malachi was a student at Wilson Junior College in Chicago, he met a young saxophonist named Roscoe Mitchell. The two would become not only lifelong friends, but the support for each other's musical experience for almost half a century. In 1963, Favors joined Mitchell in the Roscoe Mitchell Quartet. Favors and Mitchell were two men on a mission to create what would become known as great black music. The Roscoe Mitchell Quartet evolved into the Art Ensemble. They traveled extensively and attracted some extraordinary music notables, including the late Lester Bowie, a trumpet master. And the phenomenal saxophonist, Joseph Jarman. The Art Ensemble toured Europe, and during a performance in France in 1969, the French audiences were so excited about the American musicians from the Windy City, they labeled the band the Art Ensemble of Chicago. In 1970, a young percussionist and drummer named Don Moyer set in with Favors, Mitchell, and the band at a performance in Paris. Moyer made such an impression on the musicians, he was hired immediately. The final nucleus to the music aggregation that has spanned nearly 40 years was now in place. The Art Ensemble of Chicago has gained worldwide recognition over the years. The group has performed throughout Europe, Japan, Africa, Australia, and in 2000, took South America by surprise at the Free Jazz Festival in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Malachi Favors is credited for helping to create the art ensemble's unique avant-garde sound and style. Intricately fused with every aspect of the African American music experience, Favors always referred to performances as projections, not gigs. He wanted to project a music style to the audience that they would never forget. On stage, Favors, along with Moye and Jarman, was famous for painting their faces with traditional African tribal markings. Favors said the face painting was done to provoke the audience and symbolize the history of African tradition and tribal rituals. It was a way to bring a different energy and spirit to the stage. The Art Ensemble of Chicago could not easily be categorized by music critics, and sometimes not easily understood by average jazz music fans. Favors' daughter, Melba Allen, says her father resisted the temptation to play typical jazz music. He could have played straight jazz, she says, but he was so committed to music, he was always going deeper and deeper into it, as if searching for music's very core.
With an open mind and listen to the sound of the music and the spirit of the music to enter into the realm of sound to hear the spirit of the music.
Favors bridged the gap between the older and younger artists, says Don Moye. He was the foundation of the acoustic bassist. He was a traditional musician, like an African American folk musician. He was authentic.
And to our path, it's been a collective path as opposed to an individual path. We haven't been doing this alone. We've been working together as a team all of these years. All the things we ever did, we did a lot of research, travel, and study, rehearsal. So I'd like to remember the quality of our efforts.
Roscoe Mitchell says Favors was a very spiritual person whose contribution to music will resound forever. There will never be another Malachi Favors. Never.
The art ensemble still remains because we remain true to our music, and we have a vision that we're pursuing, both with the art ensemble and the individual members. I mean, it covers a wide, very wide, vast range of musical styles and musics. How do you replace something like that? I mean, if you look at the art ensemble's history, we rehearsed every day. 5 days a week. It was what we did. And none of us ever even questioned that. Just our whole experience together, our whole lives together, and because music is something that you work on all your life, and it takes a long time to develop different things that you do in music. So it wouldn't be even fair to someone, to ask them to try to step up to the expectation of one of the members of the art ensemble, because it's just too grand.
Having played on over 70 albums, including several solo albums, Favors' contribution to the Art Ensemble of Chicago and the sound he helped create will always be known as great black music, ancient to the future.
On the bass, Mr. Malachi Favors on the bass. The Art Ensemble of Chicago.